Hello everyone, in this video we are going to explore another aspect of observability, tracing. This time we continue taking advantage of Spring-Boot actuators that auto-configures and use parameter tracing behind the scenes. As previous videos in this series, we need to provide the infrastructure for the demo. By that, we are going to again extend our diagram with the presence of tracking backends, Jaeger and Zipkin. You might ask me why we need both of them, meanwhile one is sufficient, since they both support the same functionality. It's because I want to highlight OpenTelemetry collector works as an agent for our application. So our application can delegate this vital mission to the collector and get rid of all the stuff like serializing, deserializing, batching, authentication, authorization, establishing SSL, etc. Right? Let's imagine that our application had to do with its own business and now has to deal with sending observation data to 3 different components like Zipkin, Prometheus, Jaeger. So regardless of the super complex implementation, there are lots of pressure and application could have been overloaded. Okay, let's go ahead and briefly talk about how they work together. As you can see, different to Prometheus, scraping data from hotel collectors, Jaeger and Zipkin provide an API for collector to push data. For example, Zipkin hotel collector will call slot API, slot virtu, slot spans on port 9411 to send tracing data, and for Jaeger, port 14250 will be called. Let's move on and add them to our Docker Compose. In the file here, we are having hotel collector, Prometheus, Grafana here. So I'm going to ask Jaeger and Zipkin here. Since hotel collector will push data to Jaeger and Zipkin, I will add a depend Jaeger Zipkin to make sure that they are available before receiving data from hotel collector. Right? Now we are having Jaeger and Zipkin in place. The next step would be configuring hotel collector configuration YAML file to send trace data to them. So we are going to hotel collector and define 2 more exporters, one for Zipkin and one for Jaeger. As you can see, Zipkin listens data at 9411/API/virtu/spans, and Jaeger receives data at port 14250. Then go ahead and do the same pipeline for trace. So metric trace. So receiver is the same from hotel, OTLP, and processor batch. But for the exporters, we are going to use Zipkin and Jaeger. Jaeger. Okay. Okay, our infrastructure's in place. Let's run and check it. Docker compose up -d. Okay, let's see again our Docker compose. So we are going to Jaeger, open Jaeger as 16686 localhost. So this is Jaeger dashboard, right? Okay, and where's Zipkin? 9411. It's localhost 9411. So this Zipkin. So currently there's no data. Refresh it. Okay, so data from the Jaeger itself. So some trace from the Jaeger itself. There's no data from the application. Okay, so the last step is configure our Spring Boot to send trace data to hotel collector. So to do that, collector have data to push to other tracing backend. Let's go ahead and check out the documentation. So here is the getting started. So they use OpenTelemetry API with Zipkin backend. But in our case, we're going to use OpenTelemetry API to talk to hotel collectors by OTLP. So it will be using OpenTelemetry with OTLP. Okay, let's check it. OpenTelemetry, so it would be this one. Micrometer tracing with hotel and OpenTelemetry exporter OTLP. So I will add it to our radar. So we have OTLP for meter. Okay, refresh. Okay, let's check the auto configuration class for this one. So I'll go OTLP, OTLP auto configuration. So they config an OTLP HTTP span exporter for us in advance. Okay, let's zoom into this one. And okay, so this one will export our trace data to other backends. I'll put a debug point here. Then let's back to our documentation. Okay, so I will add this properties to make sure that we sampling every request. Go application here, and I'll put it here. So tracing point, and I will explicitly define the URI for the metric tracing here as well. Tracing and the endpoint. Okay, so this is tracing, this is for metric, and let's see, I'll keep the default value as well. I just want to explicitly declare it to make it clear for you guys. Okay, so this is the endpoint for push trace data, and this is endpoint for metric data, right? So tracing sampling. Okay, let's try to run this. Okay, let's do something like actuators. This is metric. Okay, I will disable it and move to the next one. Okay, you see now they are sending some span straight data. So trace data here's okay, get actuator, right? Actuator get. Okay, I'll skip it and do some another like actuator health. Okay, then another actuator health. Good. Okay, then let's go to Zipkin. I want to run query, and you will see we have get actuator here and actuator help HTTP guest. Okay, Jaeger. I will refresh it. Okay, now we have service, and the other one is application. So if I check up the application, I also found the same data as in Zipkin. Okay, back to the documentation. The propagating trace. So in the current status, traces can be propagated using auto-configured REST template builder or web client builder. Okay, let's check it. Then, okay, so I'm going to create a new controller here. So last hello controller REST controller. I'm going to create a bin here. A REST template bin, right? And this one I'm going to have private final REST template. So we are using the REST template builder auto configured by Spring Boot. And okay, constructors. And I'm going to create hello controllers. So in this hello controllers, I will call REST template to go to another service, right? HTTP beans, and send a request hello. And as you know, by using this service, HTTP beans, when we send them anything, they will send out the same contents. Okay, then I'll request the body here. Okay, let's check it. Restart it again. And I'm going to call the hello endpoint here. Localhost 8080 hello, and yes, so span will be sent. Pass it. Oh, we don't need it anymore. So you can see here, so this is the response from the HTTP bin, right? So we send it hello clouds, so it will send it back hello clouds in data. Okay, check with the Jaeger. For example, I will Jaeger UI again. I'll search again, and now you see the hello /hello. And you check this. For example, you see that this request take 2.5 seconds, and based on the trace data here, we can know that the reason why the latency is so high is because the HTTP bin trace took a lot of time to process the data. So we can determine that it's not our service, for example, right? So it's the same thing in Zipkin. Run the query. So hello, and then we can show it 2.5 seconds, and most of the time being processed in HTTP bin. And I think that's good for the playground here, so I have the infrastructure to play with trace metrics. Okay, I think this video is long enough. Thank you for taking your time watching this video. Hope to see you in the next one.